Hey guys, it's Tuesday, and today's quick tip is answering the question, can I reuse last year's potting soil in my containers? The answer is yes. See you next time. Okay, maybe that was a little quick and a little simple. The most expensive aspect of growing in containers is filling the containers with soil. Now, provided you use a quality potting soil or potting mix and not garden soil, you should never use garden soil in pots, they can be used again and again with just a minor refresh. Real quick, do me a favor. If you learned something from this video, take a couple seconds and just click the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, consider subscribing and hit the bell so you always get notified of our videos. Now, the only reason I would ever dump an entire container of soil is if whatever I grew in it last year had a fungal disease, or if it was if a pest attacked it, like vine borers that winter in the soil all winter long and then come back next year, then I might get rid of the entire container. But if not, that is simply a waste. If it is good quality potting soil, then all you need is a quick refresher every season to keep it going. So let me take you through the few simple steps that I do every season to get my containers ready for the next crop. So first of all, and it doesn't matter what container you're using, it could be a fancy container or a Home Depot bucket, we want to take out the plant that's actually growing in there. In this case, it's some old broccoli. I'm just going to twist it out. I'll try to leave as much of the soil in there as possible, but just get rid of that. The second thing I do is take the container and you want to dump all of the potting soil into a larger container. Now, if you watched my container gardening video last year, I showed you how to recycle your plastic bottles in the bottom to actually fill up some space that you don't need in a large container. Set those aside for a minute. One of the things that happens in containers is compaction. And this can even happen with really good potting soil. Over the season, it is going to, because of water and roots and just gravity, the soil is going to start compacting a little bit. Not the same as if you were to use garden soil or a very low quality soil. And if it's been sitting a while and dried out, it's probably going to be even more compacted. So dumping it in this extra container and being able to just kind of fluff it a little bit, it just gives it a new start and kind of alleviates some of the compaction. Well, all of the compaction, I guess. The next thing we're going to do is take out about 1/4 of the soil, and you can do two things with it. You can throw it in your compost bin, or you can just toss it into your garden, your raised beds, as a little bit of mulch. Now I'm going to take some new potting soil, just the amount that I took out, and add that back into the old. I'm also going to take this opportunity to amend the potting soil so we can add back in some nutrients that probably either leached out or were taken up by the plant over the previous growing season. Now you can use bone meal or blood meal. I have links to those on my website under products I love. Of course, the product I really love is the Neptune's Harvest crab and lobster and the kelp meal. And both of these, or all of these, are really going to just add a good long-term kind of slow release fertilizer to the soil to take care of the plants over the long run. Mix all that in. And now we're just going to add it back to our original container. Now we want to leave about a 4-inch space between the top of the container and the top of the soil. I think I've got that here. I might take out just a little bit. And now we're ready to plant. So I'm going to be planting a pepper this is the habanada. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I've tried unsuccessfully 2 years to get the habanada to grow early in the year. So this last summer, very end of the summer, I decided I would try to do things a little differently. I sowed the seeds while the weather was hot because our springs take a long time to heat up, and we really don't get a lot of heat until July. And so that stunts the peppers, and the habaneras for some reason never did anything. So I sowed the seeds in, I want to say August, and decided I would just grow them for the rest of the summer and fall, overwinter them, and then plant them out in the spring so they can get a jump start on things. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put this in here. Now the reason I said a 4-inch space between the top of the pot and the top of the soil, because you always want, whenever you plant something, you always want it to be growing at the same level as it was in the previous container, right? And I want to add 2 more inches of soil in here, but not a mixture of the old and the new soil. I'm going to put straight new soil, 2 more inches of that, and then it's still going to leave an inch or 2 around the top between the soil and the pot. Now there's 2 reasons I'm doing this. Number 1, just because you didn't see any soil-borne diseases last year doesn't mean that one's not going to be hiding in there and rearing its ugly head this year. So I am putting a 2-inch barrier of brand new, potting soil that hasn't been grown in between the old soil and the plant. So it just adds that extra physical barrier of protection. The second reason I'm doing it is now the very first roots that this plant will send out to become established in this container will hit perfectly good, very fertile new soil. Then once it's established, it's going to send its roots into the rest of the container. And at that point, we'll probably be fertilizing it every 2 weeks, and it's going to be good to go. It's going to thrive in this container. So that's it. It's that simple. Not as simple as just a yes, but almost. I'll see you next time.